Hey, this is Shelley Shell with another episode of Evolve Women's MMA. I had the chance to sit down recently with a dear friend of mine and training partner, Rachel Reinheimer. And we got a chance to talk about her early beginnings of becoming an MMA fighter. And I've had the pleasure of being a part of that experience and that journey with her. And we get to delve a little bit deeper into her personal experience of becoming an MMA fighter as a woman in her late 30s and 40s and living her dream. And don't forget to follow us and like us and comment and share on Facebook.com/I love WMMA. Without further ado, here's Rachel Reinheimer. I'm here with the illustrious Rachel Reinheimer. And the reason why I say illustrious is because her and I have a very unique history. We're on the older side, for one, of being in mixed martial arts. We're classics. And we're older than some of the classics that are professional fighters.
I know.
Which is really something. But the thing of it is we're dreamers. And we have different dreams, but they involve women's MMA. And I'm going to let Rachel say kind of how she got into it and then how her and I have built this friendship over the years. And I'll interject.
That's a really beautiful way to put it, Shelley. We're dreamers. It's so true because I always feel like I have huge visions and it's hard to kind of rein that in. And why should I? Why should we? We only live once. We only go down this path one time. So I feel like why rein in my vision even if I only get 50% there or 80% there? It's worth it, right?
Exactly.
It's worth it to live a full life. But I would say we met years ago back at Tong. I had just started there. It was my dream to be a fighter, an MMA fighter.
Which is really highly unusual for a woman to come into a gym like that because it was like coming into Fight Club at that period of time. It was mostly men. There weren't very many women in there. Myself and another girl, Lauren, was there, and there could have been maybe a handful, but I mean, you were
Jeanette
basically
started like
Jeanette.
the month after me.
Yeah.
So I had seen MMA fights maybe a couple of years before. I'd never seen them before. My brother rented them at my house, and I thought, what is that? I want to do that. And so I did other martial arts. I dabbled in like Taekwondo. I actually trained with some guys in New Hampshire and did ninjutsu. Yeah, they were legit. These are a legit group of guys. And it was really fun. But I still wanted to do something where I could compete. And
which is super bold because most of the women that I knew that even came in didn't even have that in the back of their heads. It was an inkling, but you definitely came in, I want to compete. I mean, she was this is what I want to do.
I knew I wanted to try it. And so to make a long story short, I showed up at the gym, and it was like this fight club in a basement. I loved it. Were
you scared coming in? That black door, and you're going down into a basement. I don't know if the dog was there, but they had
Ducati. Yeah. No, you know what happened? I went to the front door, and Mark's
who had
dad,
who had a chain, they had a serious chain around him. It looked
it
really
was
scary coming down.
Well, I went in the wrong door. I went in the front door, which was where the law offices were, and Mark's dad was there, and he's this cute little old man, and he's very flirtatious. So
typical.
Cute. And I said, I'm looking for Mark Delegratti's gym. And he's like, you're looking for Mark Delegratti's gym?
Yeah, I didn't know this. Oh my gosh.
He called me young lady, which I really appreciated because I was like 37 or 38 years old. And I was like, I like you already. But he sent me around the back, and, I walked down the stairs, and Gina was sitting at the front desk. And Gina she's is a special person,
Definitely.
And I felt very welcomed, and she made me sign some paperwork, and it said what is your reason for wanting to train here? And I think I put to fight, and she looked at the paper. She's like, you want to fight? And I said, I do, in a really small voice. I couldn't even get it out. It felt silly even saying it out loud. And then
a little seed in your
it was
will center.
And then she made me buy the biggest, puffiest shin guards they had because she was terrified I was going to break in half. But it was actually jiu-jitsu that night, and so I went down there. So I started training, and I just kept showing up when my kids were with their dad. You know, we had split custody at the time, and I just, when I didn't have my kids, it started off that way. I would go to the gym, and then I started spending all my spare time there, and you were there, and maybe 2 months in, they said they were going to have this in-house smoker, which, if people don't know what that is, it's basically like an exhibition fight, a chance for people in a gym to have the experience of preparing for a fight and cutting weight and weighing in.
And it was a secret one, too.
It's a secret one. It was very hush-hush. And a lot of them are. It's really just, it's not like a fight. It's meant to kind of give people the experience just to see if they like it, if they want to keep going forward and do like real fights. I'm using air quotes. If you can't see me.
And Crutoy was here at the time, too.
Oh, yes, Crutoy. He was there. He is, the son of the founder of the gym, our mothership in Thailand, and it was just such an exciting time. So I said, oh, I want to do it, but there were no other girls. So I was talking about it, and I just started asking people if they would fight me.
But how did you get me? Like, how did my name come up?
I think you were standing at the front desk, and I just said, would you fight me? Come on, Shelley, please. I really want to fight. Please, somebody fight me. And you were like, no. You looked like a deer in the headlights, but then you said, well, I don't know. And then I think you kind of started to think about it, and you came back, and then you said, I think I'll do it. Okay, because I was like,
okay, twist my arm, I'll do it. Because you have to understand, she came in, and she's like, will you please, jumping like a bean, like, will you please, dragging my arm, please, I'm begging you, please, I want to be an MMA fighter, and this is my opportunity, and please. I mean, it was like a little kid who, was in a candy store and was not good. That was pretty much it.
I was like, and we were the same size. I mean, you had way more experience than me. But I said,
you actually dropped weight to meet me. You were like, that was the other thing. It was like, I'll drop weight to meet you.
Yeah, I wanted to do the whole thing. I wanted the whole experience, soup to nuts. I wanted to prepare for a fight. I wanted to cut weight. I wanted to be just like all the fighters at the gym. I would sit and watch practice. And, they probably thought I was, like, looking for a boyfriend or something. But I would just sit there and watch. And, like, every single thing that Mark Delgrati said to the guys, I absorbed. And then I'd go home and write it down like a dork. Yeah. And, I just wanted to be like them. And I did what they did. If they were going to eat broken glass for breakfast, I was eating broken glass for breakfast. So I wanted to do the whole thing. And I was just so excited about it. And I said, I know Shelley's probably going to kick my ass, but I'm still going to have fun with this whole thing. And it was fun.
It was
and
a blast.
I was so grateful. But before the fight, Jake came to me and said, they're going to be punching you in the face, right? And I was like, no, I understand. Like, I think they thought I was like Tai Bo classes, and like we were going to like do an aerobic workout. I was like, no, I get it. Like, I know this is a fight. I can do this. Like, you guys have to trust me. I can do this. They were terrified for me. Terrified for me. And I said, really, I can do this.
Nobody gave a shit about me. They didn't. They didn't give a shit. Nobody came and was terrified or nothing. It was so funny. They didn't care. They're just like, go at it. You can do whatever you want to do.
You were a lot more experienced. So they said, well, Shelley will probably kick her ass, but probably won't break her nose. She'll probably be nice. She'll stop short of breaking her nose or, knocking her unconscious. But it was awesome. It was fun. You took it seriously, which I really appreciated because I wanted that experience. And it was just wonderful because you really cared about the development of the women in the gym.
That was pretty much
you put your money where your mouth was. You stepped in the ring to help me become a fighter. Like, you literally put yourself on the line to help girls in that gym. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, this woman really cares. And it was the experience of a lifetime. Like, I remember Crutoy wrapped my hands. We just wore regular hand wraps. Right. I remember sitting there going, I can't believe this is fucking happening to me. I can't believe this is happening to me. This is like unbelievable. And I get goosebumps thinking about it. It was just really fun.
It was a great experience for me too. And I'm sad now that it was probably one of my only ones, but at least I had it. Yeah. So I appreciate that. I did try to go, and you've since had how many fights now?
Well, I did, I think 5 Muay Thai smokers, including our fight. And then I did a bunch of jiu-jitsu tournaments. And then I took maybe a year to just really work on wrestling. And then I started doing MMA. And then I just did the Thai fight. So
yeah,
I've competed a lot.
She has. And yeah,
I just keep pushing. And that's the other thing. I knew that I really had to prove myself because I was older and a girl, and it's just a rough world for a girl of any age. And
there's preconditioning factors going in there, because if you show any sort of feminine emotion like crying or anything like that,
there's no crying
after training. There's no crying in Muay Thai, no crying in baseball.
I cried through a lot of showers though.
Yeah, I bet.
I cried through showers.
I mean, in the beginning, if the girls, or the women, that happened, I remember the guys thinking that you lacked confidence, which wasn't really the case. It was so intense, the training, that it was just
crazy.
It's kind of like women, it's their way of letting down and letting stuff go.
Well, you must have been going through it yourself as well, because you didn't have a lot of other women to talk to that knew what you were going through.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, Shelley was there, which was awesome, and she had a lot more experience than I did. So seriously, it was like having a fairy godmother, honestly. And Lauren was there, and Jeanette started the month after me.
Yeah.
And Jeanette
she's been there now. You guys have been there.
Yeah, she's scary. She's a scary killing machine.
Oh yeah.
And
I sparred with her recently. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah,
she's not a friendly killing machine like you.
She's a sweetheart.
She is a sweetheart.
She's a sweetheart.
She's got a nasty jab and a nasty kind of. I don't know.
She hits way harder than you expect her to hit. She broke my nose once.
Is she the one that did that?
The first time I broke my nose.
I remember that. You're like, well, I got that out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, I've had so many crazy experiences down there. But I remember I cried. The first time I cried, I've cried a few times down the gym, and the first time was, I think George Gurgel was down there.
Oh, yeah,
and he was
so
coaching people, doing rounds, and I think I had to go with Tateki, or I don't know who I was going with. I was rolling. It was horrible, and I was being crushed. This was in jiu-jitsu. And George is yelling, are you going to quit? Are you going to quit? And everyone's yelling. And I'm like,
at you?
Yeah, while we're rolling. And I felt like I was going to die. And then I just came off the mat and I ran up to the front desk and I started to cry. And Gina had never seen me cry down the gym. And she was like, I don't know what to do. Rachel's crying. I've never seen her cry before. And I'm like, oh my God, that was so hard. And she was just like, take a deep breath, pull yourself together, and you get back out there because you are the toughest fucking bitch out here. And you're going to get back out there and you're not going to let these guys get the best of you. And I was like, okay. And I ran back and I was like, they'll think it's sweat. They'll think it's sweat. I'm wiping the tears off my face. And but I just really wanted to experience something that made me feel alive. And my fighting makes me feel alive, you know?
You have a daredevil kind of personality or character.
It's weird. I am two sides of a coin. On one side, because I always say there's two kinds of people that do this sport. There's people that are very disciplined, can handle a lot of repetition, a lot of downtime, a lot of boring things. I mean, you have to do a jab 1 billion times.
Right.
The same jab.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay with that and love it, you know?
And love it. Well, because you can punch somebody in the face maybe with it.
Yeah, and people have no idea what goes into this sport. And then, or you're just crazy, or you're just nuts.
Yeah,
you know?
I think I get a little of that.
And I think you have to just be able to be disciplined enough to ride it out. Just ride it out. It's definitely one of those things, you just have to ride out the tough times, the plateaus, the disappointments, all of that.
Yeah, for sure. You, speaking of tough times, I mean, there was 6 months that you took off because you had an ACL injury.
Yes, and officially I took off the 9 months my doctor recommended.
It was 9 months, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I pulled my ACL I ripped it in a grappling tournament.
Yeah.
Back in 2000.
And that was the early on.
11.
Early on, where you could have just thrown in the towel and just said, the hell with it. Because I know, because
I was 40.
I had an ACL injury from, it wasn't even anything exciting or whatever. It was during training. This idiot guy just held onto my leg and wouldn't let go.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Dumb things happen in training.
Yeah, it's really stupid. And because of other surgeries, I just chose not to have surgery. And I was because I know, the length of it, and then being out of training. And at the time, my decision was no, I want to still train, but I didn't really have that goal to be a fighter. So you have to kind of really decide and balance out, what am I going to do here? Yeah. And that must have been really challenging because
my mom said something to me in the doctor's office. She's like, because I told, I must have said something about competing again when I was sitting there, and she said, "You're going to fight again?" I said, "Well, then why would I have this surgery?
Yeah.
This is a horrible, tough surgery to have. I opted for the patella tendon fix, which is like the hardest recovery."
Yeah.
I said, I can just sit and scrapbook with my friends from college, which nothing wrong with that, but like I could still run in a straight line.
Yeah.
I could still do a lot of things, but the surgeon had said to me, "We don't typically do this for women, for people over 40."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I'm going to compete again. I need this surgery." And so,
wow.
Yeah, I told them, I said, "I'm competing again. I need the surgery." So
that's awesome.
They told me that they said, well, they didn't even have data for failure rates for athletes over 40 for the surgery.
So now they do.
There weren't even stats, right?
No, they didn't even have, they said, "Oh, for athletes under 40, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "What about over 40? He's like, "Well, we'll find out."
Cool.
Because I said, "No, I'm going to do this." And actually, I never heard back from him, but I sent the surgeon, the first Thai fight I had, I actually won that one. And I sent him like a picture and said, "Look,
awesome.
You worked. My knee held up."
Yeah. I
actually couldn't go downstairs very well still when I had that Thai fight. So I was like, "I hope I can get out of the ring."
Yeah, right? Oh my God.
Like, wow. I mean, I could get upstairs.
Yeah, it's easy going up, but hard coming down.
It's a huge surgery. But that was a defining moment, because I was like, well, how much do I really want this? And why am I doing this? Like, why am I spending all this time? I mean, I have 2 kids. I work full time. I'm a single mom. Yeah. I have a lot of other serious responsibilities. Like, it is a risky sport. You could get a concussion. You could get seriously injured. What if I compromise my ability to take care of my children? Like, those are good questions that smart people asked me. Yeah. So I had to really ask myself, why am I doing this? And when I balanced out all the pros and cons and looked at what I was getting out of it and what my family and my children were getting out of me having this experience, I did feel like in the long run, and I always make my decisions based on the long run, I said, in the long run, I feel like this is the right thing. I feel like I'm a better person. So if I'm a better person, I'll be a better mom. And I feel like I'm role modeling to my kids. I had a fight where, most fighters like have a breakdown sometime before their fight. Like either their camp is really hard or whatever. Like, it's not unusual to have like a breakdown before a fight. So one of my MMA fights, I freaked out like a week and a half before. I was like, fuck am I doing? I'm 43. I'm fighting in a ring. I'm exhausted.
They all hit you all at once.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sitting here on the couch. I'm
panic,
crying,
anxiety attack.
Yeah, I was like, what am I doing? And Miguel's like, okay, baby, it's fine. And my son comes out and he said, "Mom, you wouldn't let me quit band." And he said, "You're not quitting. And if you want to quit a month from now, that's fine. But you're going to do this fight, and you're not quitting. You taught us to not quit."
How old is he? When he
Well,
said
at the time, he was probably 12.
What a time to hear your own words.
Yeah, right?
Yes. And I'm sitting there like, okay. And he was like, "I don't care if you're mad at me for saying it, but there." And he walked off. Wow. And I just looked at my boyfriend. I was like, I think I was just totally schooled right there. And I was like, yeah. So he just,
Lesson learned, though, that you just set the example and your kid learned from it.
So right there, right there was worth it.
Right
that
away.
Right there.
Action.
You don't quit. You make a commitment. You do your best. You try hard. You don't give up just because it gets hard. And that was like, oh my God, this was worth it, because he took that away from it. So I think it makes me a better mom and a better person. I mean, you can't do this sport long term and not become a better person. It just forces you to do that.
I feel like a lot of times too, men don't even let themselves have the thought. Like, women may be more inclined to be like, maybe I can't do this.
Right.
But men are like, I can't even think about it. It's not, I have to hold in all these emotions and everything like that. But like,
it's true.
As opposed to being able to be like, maybe I can't. I don't know.
To test it, to get out there
really,
to test
a lot of times, just I feel like men just put it in their mind that like, I don't care how I feel or anything like that, and just power forward.
You're not allowed to have a moment of doubt.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's not masculine. It's not a masculine
to doubt
quality
yourself.
To doubt yourself. Yes. Yes, definitely. I think it's more socially acceptable for women to do that.
Definitely.
But that kind of brings us back to that conversation about, what are the qualities that a fighter embodies, and allowing people to have multidimensional personalities. Like I feel that the men that I know that do this sport do become more multidimensional because they're forced to face those issues in a way that, like, everybody sits at home on the couch, right? and you watch the action movies and you're like, I can totally take on a whole army by myself in the winter time with a sword and wearing chainmail. Like, I can do that. Everyone thinks they're like this super badass
superhero.
Action. Superhero of their own movie.
Yeah.
And then when you're like standing there in your like Muay Thai shorts and you're ready to go out there and, try to like survive against some girl who's ready to take your head off, and you're like, oh my God, this is it. All that shit talking I did. I can do that. And like, allowing yourself to have that multidimensional personality, I've seen it change people, both sides of the coin. Like, men find that they are allowed to have a range of emotions, and women find that they're allowed to have a range of emotions.
So what example, do you know any guys that's kind of that you can think of? You don't have to name names or anything like that, but anybody that in particular that you've seen that happen?
Yeah, definitely. Over the years, I see the guys become more emotionally in touch with who they are, and definitely more evolved. The higher up they go, the more evolved they get.
And they become better fighters too.
They become better fighters, they become better people. And it just seems to do that for people. If you can kind of stick it out past the really tough parts and kind of allow yourself to be okay with it being hard, like, it will change you in good ways.
Do you think you learn, this is something some people will think, is that you learn more after a loss than you do a win?
I don't know. I think you can say that. Yeah, it's true. Of course, if you don't learn something from losing, then what's the point? And that's just a metaphor for life, right?
Right.
But there's still a lot you can take away from a win. I think we should learn either way. Why waste the win?
Exactly.
Everything's an opportunity to learn. So I just try to get better every time and just learn something every time. I mean, it's supposed to be fun. Sometimes I forget the lessons I've learned. Like, for a while, I kind of felt like it got not fun. And then I've heard other people say that. And then I rediscovered the fun part of it and just kind of reminded myself that again, it just always feels like it's a metaphor for life. Like, yes, ultimately, you want to have as much fun as you can on this ride because it's the only one you get. So, enjoy it. And so last night or Saturday night, I just really tried to soak in the experience and just really tried to imprint in my mind everything. They put the whole Muay Thai thing on me. I mean, it was such an honor. They had the armbands and the robe and the Moncall and everything. And I was like, seriously, how did I get here? How did I get here? And Mark Delagrati called us before the fight and he said something inspirational. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? This is like unbelievable. So just reminding myself that it can be hard, but it can be fun too, and taking a little pressure off, but yeah, don't waste a win. Learn from that too.
Yeah.
No, trust me, when you win, the fight's never perfect either.
Yeah.
There's never a perfect fight. Like, it's always ugly on some level. You know what I mean? It's like, it's never
goes like it did in training.
No, please. We're always, that's so amazing in training, and you feel like you're fighting at 50% always. And those like miraculous moments, like the Anthony Pettis off the cage.
Right.
Yeah, how do they do that?
Yeah,
it's like, where does that come in?
Yeah, no, it's like your fight's messy, you feel like you peed yourself, you don't know what's happening. Like, it's just always a mess, even when you win.
Well, that's an Anthony Pettis. That's like a guy watching an action movie and he still thinks that was in the ring. Oh yeah, I'll just jump off the cage and punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's always messy. So there's always something to learn, and I just try to keep evolving, and I think the more I do this and the closer I get to the potential end of it, the more I'm like, want to just enjoy the ride, and also just kind of, make it just like a normal part of my life.
Right.
And just kind of like, it's something that I do that's fun.
Yeah. So you see yourself sticking with even the training, even, if you decide not to compete.
Yeah,
anymore.
I definitely want to keep training. Yeah. I really, really love this sport. I definitely will keep training, and that might change a little bit. I'll probably compete more in jiu-jitsu when I'm done with MMA.
See, a lot of people will stick with jiu-jitsu for a longer period of time.
You can do jiu-jitsu when you're like 95. I can do it in the nursing home.
Anthony Bourdain started when he was 59?
Yeah.
Or maybe 55 and became like a blue belt when he was 59?
Exactly. Yeah. You can just lay there, they're passing my guard, whatever, It's like, I'll just fake I'm working my guard. Yeah. There's definitely a place for me still in fighting as I age, and I feel like that's okay. It's okay that it evolves, and
Yeah, because I mean, you did have a late start in getting into this,
Yeah.
and so for women to think, oh, I'm too old for anything, that's a bunch of bullshit.
No.
I mean, you
Yeah,
can
it
start
is
any
bullshit.
time of your life and get into something that you really, kind of. Oh, I think I might want to like try this. You can get into anything you want, and you're a perfect example of that.
People will put limits on you. You don't need to do that to yourself.
No.
Like, you don't need
Yeah.
to put that limit on yourself. Trust me, like, if you can't do it, your body will tell you, and then maybe you need to adjust something.
Yeah, and you could still do it, but maybe you just don't do like compete or
Exactly.
I mean, that was my choice. It was my choice not to compete,
that's
but I found other
okay.
ways to
It's-
go about doing training
it's-
into something that I love
You gotta be
doing.
a certain kind of person to want to get in there and do that. I mean,
Yeah, I think I would like to, but like I had injuries, and
Yeah,
and then
it's
too,
okay to
I
say,
just,
like, this is not where I'm at right now.
Right.
Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with making that decision. Like, before this last fight, I said to my boyfriend, like, if I
Yeah.
get the shit kicked out of me in this fight, and I feel like it's just not there anymore, this might be the last one. But that's not how I felt.
Yeah, that's good.
That is not how I felt.
It just
It felt fucking awesome.
Right, and you're like, I wanna get back in the ring again.
It felt great, and I had a great camp, and I had a great weight cut, and I felt really good in the ring. I was just nervous. I think the adrenaline got to me, but I get nervous because these things are like sold out. I'm like, oh my God. But
you're never training in front of hundreds or thousands of people.
No,
so
it
that's
gets-
one thing you can't necessarily
What was
train for.
really
That's
good
true.
about this place that they had it at was it was a small venue, and it was just
Yeah.
for Muay Thai. And you'd go in and you could see all your friends there.
Yes.
And then, you had the support of, your teammates are there, and that they're like pretty close, and you could probably hear them, where if you're in a bigger
Yes.
venue, you're like, I don't know where, your lights and camp, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Felt more intimate.
But
Felt
it is
intimate.
more intimate, and then too, it was hometowny, which is really
Yeah, it was so
fun.
nice.
And it was so nice to have here locally that we can have Muay Thai fights.
Oh my
again.
goodness, it's just so wonderful.
Because we haven't had that in
this.
this area for a long time. You can only go to New York to get it, and
To get sanctioned Muay Thai fights.
Yeah, and
so to
now
have it here
is.
in Massachusetts is just incredible. And
Is this the first? Was it the first?
This is the second card.
The second card.
They actually had contacted me about the first card, but I hadn't had my medicals completed yet, and I was also there was just too much going on,
Right,
so
right,
I
right.
couldn't. So I said, well, please keep me in mind for your next card, which I thought was going to be in October, but it ended up being January. So
Even better.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just I was just so.
So it was a
excited
good
about
fight. I mean, I got a chance to go.
Yeah.
I thought it was really fun to watch.
It's good.
you fight
Katana
again.
is a terrific person. We talked
Yeah.
before the fight. She's just a really terrific person and a great competitor, and it was super fun. I expected a brawl, and she was a
Yeah.
lot more technical.
It was
which I
really
loved.
nice to see the technical, because at
Yes.
the beginning, the other fights were when you're just starting out in Muay Thai, everybody ends up clinching, and they
Yes.
they're like in a ball and throwing punches or
But
whatever.
at its best,
And-
Muay Thai is like a
and
devastating,
now,
violent chess
watching
match.
and watching you guys,
You know?
it was like, okay, you break away and you restart. Like if you got into the clinch, you break away a little bit, and then you kind of start banging again, and it was like really fun to watch.
Yeah, that was wonderful, because I just didn't expect that. I thought that she was going to be more of a brawler.
Yeah,
because
I
I'd
did too.
seen like a little tape on her, and I
Yeah.
was like, she's just like a great person, and it was just, I felt like the vibe was really good, and it was just great. I
Yeah.
loved it. She definitely brought the fight, and
Right.
she got the win, but I don't feel bad about it. I feel like I did everything right, and sometimes you do everything right and you just don't get the win, and that's
Exactly.
okay. I sometimes put too much pressure on myself because I'm older, and I feel like I have to win everything and do everything perfectly. But even for the best fighters on the planet,
Yeah.
they do everything right, and sometimes you don't get the win.
Right.
So it's okay. And
Yeah.
so I just feel like, so I asked the coaches after. I said, look, I was kind of thinking if I got my ass kicked,
Yeah.
that I was going to quit. And they were like, no way!
Which is awesome.
Yeah, they were like, we're bringing you to your next fight ourselves. That's not happening. We're getting ready for the next one. I was like, all right.
So that's really encouraging too. You have such a good coaching, team behind you.
Incredible.
And those guys have been behind you for a long time now.
Yeah,
You know?
incredible. That's the reason that I can even do this at my age.
Yeah.
Because if I had been in a less knowledgeable gym, Mark Delagrati's a legend, of
Right.
course, and just, sometimes I forget how amazing he is until you watch him teach or just
Right.
move around or spar, and they're like, this guy is like a genius at this. And the staff, the trainers, they're just incredible. And so the
You've been
level
with
of Muay Thai.
Jake for a while. Jake
Yeah,
Steinem.
we trained together for a long time.
And
He was
he's
in my
been super
corner for, I
supportive.
think, almost every smoker I did.
Yeah.
He was in my corner for this Thai fight, and it was just awesome, you know, to have that camaraderie back again. And Andy Cote was in my corner for this fight. It was just awesome. I mean, those guys, they love Muay Thai.
Yeah, they
Like-
live, breathe. Every weekend, if there's a show, they're at it.
They love it. They love
awesome.
it. They love it, love it, love it. And I love it. And so that sort of feeling of really caring about the sport is really awesome. And just, it was just an honor.
There was like, I think there was 5. It was pretty equal, the amount of female fights.
Yeah, girl fights on the card. It was
on the
awesome.
card, which is you know, I haven't seen that since like back in the day. I go to New York and they would have an all girl card, but like they would just put all the girls on one card, and you know, because they could get them all on. But now, like you actually have, it was like half and half almost.
Yeah,
they had like 5 or 6.
There were at least 5 or 6 girl fights on the card.
Yeah,
it was
and-
incredible.
Yeah,
It was really incredible. And yeah, they it's interesting too because like I said, like they're real athletes
Right.
now, you know. It's not just girls that are like, oh, I think I want to try this, as you know. These are girls that are like, some of them are coming from other sports.
exactly.
Some of them have you know, they've already proven themselves in other sports, and then they're coming into this sport and starting to dominate. And people don't feel like you have to be put in a little box anymore.
Yeah,
you know.
And now, I mean, you've been training at SIT for, it's been like 6 years or something
Since
more.
2009.
And the
So it's
difference,
8 years,
and
8
the
years.
difference in you know, training for you now. Like, I mean, you're in the fight team now, so you can, you know, you have
I'm
that.
on the fight team.
That's like a huge thing.
It was so hard to get
That
on
is
that
a huge
team.
thing. I remember the first day we did the fight team together.
It was so hard.
It was really hard.
Oh my
and really
God.
scary. Really
Well, I used to
scary.
sit there and watch through the fence like a little kid, and one day John Johnson said to me,
Yeah,
how
it was
bad do you want to
scary.
be in here?
Yeah, like
and I
really
said,
scary.
well, bad. Like, why the fuck do you think I'm here, you know?
Yeah.
And he said, all right, show up on Monday. That was a Saturday.
Yeah.
I was so scared
Yeah.
for 2 days.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep. I couldn't
Yeah.
eat. I was so
Do you
terrified.
remember gloving up and they're wrapping like putting the tape around our hands?
I'm gonna die.
And
I'm
I'm
gonna
like,
die.
shit. And Heather came down from northern New
Yes.
Hampshire, and we had Vaseline put on our faces. We're like, why do we need that?
Yeah.
You know, maybe a little bit on the
They're
ground.
gonna hurt us.
Yeah, right. And I just stuck with Rachel pretty much the whole time that
Yeah.
I did a little bit with
That was
for the
fun.
sparring, but it was
And
really
Heather. Yeah, I got to start with Heather, which
It
was fun.
It was Heather Lambert. She doesn't
Yeah.
fight anymore, but she was an early.
She kicked
early
my butt in a
women's-
tournament once, in a grappling tournament once.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
But since then, now we have this whole like crew of women
Yes.
at the gym.
Yes.
And I mean, like you have other women coming in from other gyms that are affiliated with Sit Yatong and you know,
It's wonderful.
training partners now where you didn't have that in the very beginning.
Now I have like high level female training
Exactly.
partners that are way beyond me. I'm
Yeah,
not.
that's how
you
much it's
know,
grown.
It's amazing, and just having those other women pull together, and you know, Kayleen Medeiros,
Yeah.
Peggy Morgan, Erin Lamont. What's Erin's? Is that her married name or her?
I don't
can't
know.
remember.
I think it's yeah.
I think that's her married
Yeah.
name. And you know, just so many. Tiffany McCoy,
Right.
Hannah Morello, like a lot of girls.
Those are ones I don't even
regionally.
know now. Like,
yeah,
I-
these
I-
are like
yeah.
good
I'll
fighters
totally meet them.
regionally. Yeah, Tiffany trains with Matt Santos.
Yep.
So
I met him and he's like, yeah, I got a girl. And I was like, who?
yeah, she's a beast. She comes
Yeah.
from rugby. She plays rugby. This girl's a beast. She's amazing, a sweetheart too. I mean, just the range of female talent
That
is insane.
want to fight now. They all
That
want
are
to fight.
they want to fight. They're real athletes.
Yep.
They're not just girls that are weekend warriors. These
Yeah.
are like legit
they wanna do that.
athletes. Like they can deadlift. They can, you know, they can put in the work. You know, and so it's a totally different ballgame now. I'm trying to keep up with them. And Fernanda Arahu. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. Oh man, she trains with Jimmy Pedro.
Okay, no,
She's
I don't know.
incredible. She just did a boxing match. These girls are amazing, and so it's fun for me. Then we have girls coming up in our gym,
Right.
That are just I
Off the
really
street coming
hope
in.
that me doing like this sanctioned Thai fight inspires them to keep going. I just want girls to know like it can. If someone's doing it, it can be done. So it's not out of reach.
It isn't at all. Not anymore.
You put in the work, it's not out of reach.
What's really great about it too, it's supplying new opportunities for women in the business.
Yes.
Too in
Yes.
in mixed martial arts business, and it's opening up. Maybe it will eventually open up gyms that are solely run by women for women. I don't know. But I like the idea of training with the guys too. Still, you still like that camaraderie.
Like there's less it's weird. The more opportunities there are for women, the less it becomes about the male-female thing. I think
that's a good thing.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Like I get taken so much more seriously now than I ever did. The more women that come into it. But if you eliminate half your training partners, it's like that just seems foolish. You're cutting your opportunities in half to learn because, if you need to train with women because you compete against women, and obviously there's strength differences and physically centers of gravity are different. The torque on the torso is different. Everything's different. We're not built the same way.
Right.
Hormonally, we're different. It's just two different creatures. But, you're just really cutting down your opportunities to learn, to grow, and develop as fighters. And
I feel like it can, because when we talked to Peggy Morgan, she insisted on having a women's only class, and I feel like that it can allow women, especially women that are new to it, to be much more focused.
No, there's a place for it.
There's a place for it in the beginner.
Sometimes, yeah.
Like I think at the beginner level, because women are overcoming like a lot of confidence issues about being, and then too, if you're doing
jiu-jitsu,
contact
sport.
if you're doing jiu-jitsu, you have to overcome that comfort level of being physical. Like you're gonna have a guy between your legs, or you're gonna be between a guy's legs.
Yeah.
Why is
this guy crawling on my back?
And you have to kind of overcome those kind of things that happen in your head that you don't even expect. You don't even know that they're going to come out. You're going to be like, oh my God, freak out.
I mean,
or I have to be comfortable with this. Oh God, I got my period. Right. And like I have this guy and I'm like, oh my God,
it's intimidating enough to start doing MMA, let alone with men.
Yeah. Yes, and I do agree with Peggy. Like, I mean, she's amazing. I agree.
Yeah.
There is a place for women-only opportunities,
sometimes.
Definitely. Yes. But I think that, like, ultimately in the big 100%. Picture, you're really like cutting out like half the knowledge base because
100%.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, it's very hard to like not be distracted by sort of like, because my first training partner, I wish I could remember the guy's name. He was like a army guy / model or something. And the first class, it was like, climb on the other person's back. It was in jiu-jitsu. I was like, I can't believe this dude is going to climb on my back 30 times.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't even been on a date in 6 months. Like, this guy I don't even know is going to crawl on my back. He's like half my age. I don't know what's happening right now. What am I doing?
Right.
So, and I had to take like 18 Tylenol and pack myself in ice, and then I showed up 2 days later. I was like, so you just have to kind of like say, like, it's a sport, it's a sport. We're both participating in a sport, and that's what's happening here. And that kind of like healthy disassociation, I guess I like to call it, isn't kind of necessary.
But you kind of have to really kind of go home and think about it after you've experienced it. Even if you've done some of the maneuvers with women, and then you present the whole male-female element where you're training with guys too, and then you're doing those drills with them. You kind of have to get over that little.
Definitely.
Maybe not so much anymore. I don't know, but I know for me when I first started, there was a little bit of that. I was like, oh shit.
Well, I think,
and then I was fine with it.
I think those issues are more like when people are new, because like people aren't really sure what's happening.
But it's interesting because when you said you were like trying to like do what the guys are doing, and it's also important for I think that for women to not try and be like men, but be the best version of themselves.
Oh yeah.
So especially while this is new right now, with some women, I imagine it's very important to have it be women only, and they don't have to have that other stuff clouding their brain.
Definitely. Yeah. I think too, it's really what works for the individual person.
100%.
Absolutely.
So for
some people
woman,
could dive right in and not have a problem at all.
It might be more comfortable in a female-only setting, and other women, you might be more comfortable in a mixed setting. And I think for good or for bad, I idolized those guys. I just wanted to be a fighter, and I was like, whatever they do, I'm going to do. And if there had been women there, I would have felt the same way. I think I was just like, I just want to be like the top guys in the team, and I just want to do what they do. And I mean, geez, when I started training with Kayleen and Peggy, it's like so starstruck. It's like these women are my heroes. You know what I mean? Like Peggy Morgan is like one of my heroes. I'm like, oh my God, she's taking me down. This is the coolest thing ever, you know? And so, you know, but those women weren't there in the beginning. So
They were training elsewhere. They were training during the same time.
They were, but
they
it
were
was
just
like different.
Everything was separate and like they didn't know you existed.
They didn't know I was there.
They were in their own like little place up in New Hampshire, and then their coaches basically at the time I think kind of preserved them. Like they were like, oh, okay, no, she's not fighting yet, and she's still learning and what have you. So she's not open. She's staying here.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. So there are women that have been in it longer than me, but just trained differently. And but yeah, just the gender thing. I think everyone has their own way of dealing with it, and I just decided that I was doing an athletic. I was doing a sport. I decided I was doing a sport, and that it was nothing more than that. And if the guys wanted to make it more than that, that was their problem.
Right.
And it definitely looked like I was having a midlife crisis. I will admit that.
I know, because I remember you talking about that. You had friends that would come in, like, and they're like, "What are you doing, Rachel?"
Yeah, all my friends.
And you were going through a lot. I mean, you went through a divorce.
I was going through a divorce, and I was going through a very messy, bad divorce, and with 2 little kids. My daughter was.
And that's a big
2 years when I
deal.
started training.
That is a big emotional deal too. Like to go through that and still juggle. You had work. I mean, you were full time.
I've worked full time.
You got the 2 kids. That's a full time, 24/7 job.
Yep.
And then you're starting this MMA career.
Yes.
And you're getting involved in that, and that's devotion too. And how? I mean, you were training. You were going like at least 3 times a week.
So for a while, what I did, because my kids were with their dad part of the time, so I would
It's a lot.
I would train Tuesday night. I would get there after work because they were with their dad Tuesday and Thursday overnight. So I would train 6 to 9, stay to the very end. I would train for like 3.5 straight hours. Then I would go home, shower, get up at 5 so I could be at Jake's morning class on Wednesday, do Muay Thai, then go to work. Yeah. And then, so I literally trained every single practice when my kids weren't there. Then I started taking them sometimes with me to the gym, and they would be off on the mat on the side, and it was just a complete nightmare. But and my daughter would be falling asleep on the mat. My daughter was 2.
Shelley, we've talked about this. The idea of like this couch potato guy being like, woman fighting, I could beat her up. When he hasn't even doing anything.
What's really funny about that is because we would have guys come in like that,
right?
And there would be a few girls in the class, and then they would, we would get towards the end of the class and we'd do some sparring, and the guys thought, oh yeah, they're going to kick my ass or whatever. And I think you were in one class, and I don't know if Eddie Saldana was teaching at the time. It was during the day,
Eddie.
and some guys were, and the guy, and you went with one guy, I went with another guy or whatever, like, and we're sparring with them, and we just kicked the shit out of them, and the guys were like, they were like stunned.
These 2 old blondes are kicking our asses.
They're kicking our asses. And then I think Eddie goes, that's what I love about this place. The girls are tooling the guys in here. But it was so funny because we didn't even know we were doing it. We were like, oh, okay,
we were just doing what we were taught to do. Yeah. Just do what we were taught to do. Like I remember one time I got to the gym. I trained every second that I had. I did my strength and conditioning in my lunch hour at work, so I gave up every lunch hour at work. And I became the crazy gym rat at my job. And I just, one night I was at the gym, and I think Marcus Davis or Pat Cote, one of the high-level guys was there teaching or something. Yeah. And I started to have this horrible pain in my side, like this horrible, horrible pain. Yeah. And I tried to train through it, and it got worse and worse and worse. And pretty soon they sent me upstairs, which wasn't like part of the gym yet. It was where the fighters slept or whatever. Yeah. And I was like crunched over. And so Gina was like, I'm taking you to the hospital. I had a kidney stone.
Oh,
They tested me. They want to make sure my appendix hadn't burst and everything. But then I was like, shit, I think I can make the 7 a.m. Muay Thai class before I go to work. I fucking showed up at Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And then Jake was like, all right, you idiots, you'd better like bring it because this girl...
It was just in the hospital.
Yeah. Or I would show up, I broke my toe. I showed up with broken feet, broken noses. I just... Because I didn't want to miss a training session. I said, I can't afford to.
Right.
Because I can't go when I have my kids. And so...
It's the only time for you to do it.
Right. Yeah. So I had to be tougher than everybody else. And I had to just keep showing up. But then they would start coming. They would start coming with me and then sleep on the mat or...
Yeah, they were good. They were very well behaved.
Mostly.
They were.
Mostly.
I remember. They're still well behaved.
But
They're
they
really
just
good kids.
grew up thinking this was normal, you know? And then, you know, my son would say in school, my mom's a fighter. Okay, sure she is. But yeah, you know, you had to put in the work, and it was a lot, but it was fun. It was just so much fun. There's something so magical about that place.
What's so important about the vibe that I've gotten from you and your mentality is you just haven't let other people's opinions like affect you.
Not at all.
That's been a huge
Not at all, 'cause-
setback for a lot of men, women, anyone trying to do something. You know.
Well,
Not at all.
I knew I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I don't do drugs. I don't have an alcohol problem, although I feel like I should at this point.
When do
but-
you have the time?
Yeah, exactly. I drink between 2 and 3 a.m. You know, I don't have any really bad vices. I'm a pretty good mom. You know, I mean, I'm not like the best mom on the planet, but I feel like I do my best all the time.
Right.
And I felt like I wasn't doing anything wrong, and I really honestly believed that I was improving myself and improving that would improve the lives of my kids. I thought being healthy is good, being fit is good, you know, having something positive. There was a community at the gym. I was building a community for myself. I was learning something that might have a self-defense application to it. I just felt like I was role modeling good behavior for the kids. So I really didn't believe I was doing anything wrong. And most of my friends eventually came around once they realized it wasn't a midlife crisis, and that that would come much later. No, like this weekend. No, I'm just kidding. But like, you know, once they realized that this was something like I really was passionate about and really cared about, they all came behind me, you know, and started to really see like, oh, this is a good thing. And then they'd be like, so what exactly do you eat? And what?
Yeah, right.
You know, what do you do for workouts and things like that? And they started asking for advice, and now like at work they just laugh they laugh when they see me with a bruise on my face or a broken nose
because now they know.
Yeah, they think it's hilarious. You know?
should see the other person.
Yeah, exactly. And they just think it's funny now. And but tuning out those negative opinions, a lot of times people are putting their stuff on you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a projection, definitely.
Yeah, they're putting their stuff on you.
You've kind of broken some barriers in other realms too, like with people. I mean, you're in an interracial relationship, and you've been in one for some time now after coming through a difficult divorce.
Yes.
And you guys met. I don't know. You guys been together for a long time now.
We've been together for over 6 years now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is interesting because.
Were people also like, what are you doing with that too? Or
a little bit. Well, he's a little younger than me too.
Oh, yes.
So that made it look even more like a midlife crisis.
Girl. Yeah, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there were a lot of things that kind of would, from the outside, maybe seem like I was going a little bit off the midlife crisis path, But, well, I had been, previous to that, you know, I tried a couple of sort of romantic relationships between my divorce and my boyfriend, and things didn't work out. And then I'd had somebody dump me for training. You know, they were like, "You're always at that gym." I'm like,
Oh, I know. I remember you saying that.
well, how exactly am I supposed to learn this? Like going to the
And then you're like,
the,
it's either you or the gym.
yeah.
I'm
and I
like,
said, well, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, this is what I do, right? So.
good choice.
I took like a year off from dating, really, honestly. I know this kind of sounds like, you know, this is real girl talk here, but I took a year off from dating, and I kind of did the whole like figure out what I want for myself thing. And I just, the first couple of months were really hard and lonely. And I just said, you know, I'm going to really just work, kids, train, and think about what I really want.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I had this bad marriage, and I had this even worse divorce. And I, you know, it was very messy, and it's still ongoing, messy. And I had some like bad, you know, romantic entanglements following my divorce. And I was like, what do I want? Why am I fighting? Why am I working? Why am I not just sitting on the couch eating potato chips, being a welfare mom? Like, that would just be so much easier. You know, I was broke all the time, but I was working. You know, I was like, what am I doing? So I just took a year off, and I didn't date anybody. I just kind of thought about what I wanted, and it really clarified things for me. And
How much more time do you have when you're not dating a person to really just focus on your things,
on you
yourself?
developing.
Yeah, just, you know, I just didn't even accept any first dates or anything. I just kind of focused on, what do I really want? What do I want in a person? Who do I want to be? I know that sounds very like earthy, crunchy, esoteric or whatever, but I just like, who am I? Let's take a break. Like, I've had a whirlwind 20 years and I'm not a spring chicken. I'm getting older and I'm, late 30s. What am I doing? So I just kind of decided, this is the kind of person I want to be with, and this is the way I envision my life going over the next 10, 20 years. I always think, like, try to make your short-term decisions based on long-term goals.
100%.
So I was like, the next person that I'm with, I want to be like a person I really respect, someone who's athletic, someone that respects me, someone that I care about, someone that's fun, smart, It sounded like a really tall order. And the first person I accepted a date from after this sabbatical from dating was my boyfriend. And he is a really terrific person. I mean, he's just all of those things and more. And he really honestly, there's a lot of differences. Yes, it's an interracial relationship. He's Black, he's Hispanic, he's younger than I am, but he's just we're very similar. It's crazy. He's the most like me of anybody I've ever dated, personality-wise. It just feels like we're very, very, very similar people.
That's so funny because you're so bubbly, but he's quiet.
Oh, in private, he's like Mr. Silly.
Of course.
Oh, really?
Oh my God! He'll kill me for saying that. I'm shattering
God forbid he's that way all the time.
I'm shattering his stern image, but he is Mr.
Stone face. It's gotta be a stone face.
That is
He's
so
Mr.
funny.
Silly, and I'm the one that gets too serious in private. And I'm like,
so you guys
he's the one.
balance each
Yeah,
other
but he's
out.
also he knows when to be he's a very confident person, and sometimes I just need him to be the man of the relationship, and he does that. He knows how to have that balance of being supportive and confident. And he has a son who's the same age as my daughter, so we had kids the same age, which I think has a lot to do with it. Someone his age might have not have been as mature without having a child, and we had a lot in common that way.
Well, you've already done so much and accomplished so much while being your only motivation, so it must be nice that sometimes you can just let it go and somebody else can help push you. Having to push yourself all the time, and you get burnt out. It's
exhausting. And just 3 weeks into dating, I took him down the gym. I was like, okay, I'm just going to screen him out. I decided.
Let's see where this is going.
Yes. So I said, I do this fighting thing, and I actually had a smoker within a month of us dating. But the week before, I took him down the gym and I was rolling with Stan Savage in these little booty shorts and a little tank top. And he shows up to come pick me up because I don't know if I had a car at the time, but I lived so close to the gym. I would just take the train home.
This is a good test.
And he just, he's very quiet in public, and he just kind of sat there playing on his phone and didn't say much. And then I introduced him to Eddie Saldana because Eddie's Dominican too. Yeah. So I was like, I wanted to get Eddie's take on the whole thing, and he's like, watch out, it could be a player, and whatever. So anyway, so I said, okay, well, and Miguel was like, oh, it was cool, all right. I was like, well, I have this fight thing next week if you want to go. He's like, okay. And so he showed up and he was like, that was really cool. It just never got weird.
Right.
There was never
relaxed.
And he was just normal about the whole thing. And then, occasionally, he just would come down the gym. He'd hang out with everybody. He would come to all my fights. He helped me cut weight. He'd drive me to weigh-ins.
No, you said about him helping you cut weight. This
yeah,
is such a funny story. You're crying.
Oh my God! I
kid.
took this one fight on short notice, and it was just 11 pounds, 15 pounds in a week, and 11 pounds of water in 24 hours, which is hard for even
it's horrible
the guys to do, right? So
horrible for anybody to do.
The last couple of pounds were the worst, and so I'm crying in the plastics, and he's laughing his ass off, showing me the video of Cyborg crying in the tub while she's in her weight cut. So I'm crying like, if she can cry, I can cry. It's okay. Sort of that women's solidarity thing we're talking about, identifying. Yeah. And I'm like, because if she can cry this, and I'm sobbing, and even all the way up to the weigh-ins, I'm crying in the plastics in the car, and he's sweating with the windows up because he's hydrated.
Lord.
So he's pouring sweat, and he's like, you got this, baby, you got this. I'm like, I'm not giving up, oh my God.
It's like having a baby.
It was like having a baby. And then I was like, I gotta take the glasses off.
You did this to me.
Yeah.
You did this to me. Oh my
And then I'm
God.
stripping off the plastics, and I've got my workout bra, and I see a trucker go by, and he's like, what the hell is going on in that car? We're sweating. And I'm so he's helped me through the whole thing. And then about a couple of years in, he was like, I'll try a Muay Thai class. And then,
he's been doing it ever since.
Yeah, and he does.
So
then it became like
wonderful.
2 Muay Thai classes a week, and then he was like skipping out. He was going to school at night. And he was like skipping out of his school early to like go to Muay Thai class, and he had A's, all A's. He's very bright, and so that was actually really nice too, because he would like. He kind of really gets it, you know, and not exaggerating. I'm fucking tired, dude.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, and just I think it just really helped a lot, and you know, it's fun. Sometimes we train together. At first, it was weird.
Yeah.
You know, I thought like we're just such a good fit in this relationship. Training together is going to be so awesome, and then we'd like get in a huge fucking fight, you know. And you sucker punched me, and you did this, and you don't know what you're doing. And oh, sorry, I'm playing with the microphone. And so, but yeah, it's just been really great. And, you know, now he is there. He's my teammate in his own right. He's part of the team. It's not like he's my boyfriend. He's part of the team. And that's really awesome.
That's a huge transition, though, too, to bring somebody that you're, you know, intimate and physical with, and then you're bringing them into your space.
Yeah, but I kind of like that. I don't
it
like
is nice,
yeah.
but it doesn't work for all people sometimes.
No, but it's so interesting because, like, this relationship, I don't feel like I need a lot of space. And, you know, we don't live together, so we already have a lot of space. And I think that, you know, it's really nice. Like tonight, we're meeting up at the gym because he's doing the 6 and the 7, I'm doing the 7. I'm still kind of a little tired from the fight, so instead of doing team practice, I'll just do the 7. But we'll get to train in the same space together. And, you know, now I have somebody I can sexually harass at the gym, and it's okay. Finally, it's okay to sexually harass somebody there. So I can make all kinds of inappropriate jokes to them, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's really fun. It's like it helps you learn about yourself and who you are and how you like to communicate and interact with people. And it helps you learn how to deal with difficult people that are unsure, lack confidence. It helps you be in the role of student and teacher, which is important in life, you know, because sometimes I'm the student and sometimes I'm the teacher.
I feel like I'm both on all of
Sometimes I'm the
this.
parent, sometimes I'm the mom at the gym, and sometimes I'm the little kid looking for a shoulder to cry on.
And sometimes your kid's like, Mom, remember what you told me?
Yeah, right?
So it allows you to take on all of those roles and learn about yourself and figure out, how do I react in these situations, you know, under pressure. Helps you figure out how you're going to react under pressure. Where are the things that you want to improve as a person? Where are your weaknesses? It just comes to light so clearly. Like I remember I used to blink or
flinch,
close my eyes, flinch when people hit me. And John Johnson said to Luda one day, if she blinks or looks away, hit her harder. Oh. And he was like, oh God. And then he was like, okay.
Yeah, right.
Well, I got to tell you, I stopped.
See, my lesson with that one was go in the shower and try to hold your eyes open. You know, like while the water's spraying on you, so you can keep your eyes open if somebody punches you.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
That's such a different way of like learning it.
Well, I got to tell you, within 2 or 3 team practices, I was getting hit like 75% less because I was keeping my eyes open and watching what was coming. And it's just like life, right?
Yeah.
If you keep your blinders on and you shut your eyes to everything that you don't want to happen to you, you're never going to see things coming at you.
That you might want, that's in there. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I want
Or just get out of the way.
An opportunity to counter or...
Get out of the way.
It gives you more control in the situation. You have no control in the situation with your eyes closed.
Exactly. So just like keep your eyes open. Watch what's coming at you in life. See what's happening. You'll miss most of the bad stuff. And, you know, you'll learn something. And so just like the metaphors go on and on and on. It's just awesome. And there's so much to learn.
That's one of the great differences in training like other things, because some people think, oh, why would you want to train that as opposed to, say, dancing or like...
Yeah. I danced for years, by the way.
Yeah.
So it does feel like dancing.
Yes,
it feels
does.
like dancing.
And I always associated it with dancing, only in that. Dancing is a little more choreographed. Sure, you can have a partner that will, you know, you could get like intuitive with it and kind of just go and flow with it.
Yes.
But it's not quite like striking because in
you have to be improvisational.
In an MMA match when you were working with a partner, you don't know what the other partner's thinking, or you don't know what they're going to throw at you.
It's dancing 2.0. That's how I think of it.
Yeah, it's like
you learn all the combos. You know, you practice them over and over.
Then
it becomes artistic. I mean, you watch somebody like Rob Font. He makes it look like fucking art.
We were just talking about that the other day, Shelley and I.
Oh, he's just a pleasure to watch. I used to just watch the guys on the hit pads and stuff when I first started.
He makes it look so easy, and he doesn't even think about it anymore. It doesn't look like
he just
it's just like they hold the pads up and they don't have to say anything.
But Rob likes to communicate without talking anyway. He was shaking his gloves at me. I was like, I don't know what that means. Like a secret sign.
Yeah. He never even has like that trying look on his face. He's always so calm and composed.
Well, he's got like a happy face, I think.
Yeah, and also just figuring out what is my poker face and how do I get through these difficult situations in life. Like I've had this bad divorce. It's an ongoing battle in court.
Yeah, it's a lot of years.
A lot of years. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
And how do you cope with those things in life that are unpleasant?
That's why you're doing the you go and punch. I mean, I always look at it as it's the best form of therapy.
It's therapy. It's a spa vacation.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like when I'm training, I'm really not thinking about anything other than training. It's the only time that I feel so completely free. I feel completely free. Like, this is like my space. This is my happy space. This is where I am 100% me. I really feel like the real Rachel when I'm training and fighting, and it's just a wonderful feeling. And also, all those problems melt away. I get a mental break. I meditate too, but I didn't start really meditating, like really committed to it until about 2 years ago.
What got you into meditation? What started you in
I thought it would make me a better fighter.
So, did you just figure that out on your own, or did somebody present that to you?
I'm kind of this, like...
I know you're always
I'm one of these people that's very, like... I have a lot of sides to me. So I have a hippie, earthy, crunchy side. Like, I had my kids at home in a tub. In a birthing tub.
You did that? You did a home birthing?
You are crunchy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I'm
and brave. And you had, like, what did you have?
I had a midwife. And, I had a wonderful midwife. She was, like,
wow, my
really
other girlfriend
certified
did this
midwife.
with her kids, too.
Yeah, I had, like, so I have, like, an earthy, crunchy, hippie side to me.
Nice.
And anything that would make me a better fighter. So I started doing yoga, which I really believe it. I know you're a yoga teacher. I love yoga, and I do 10 minutes of yoga every single night and that's what's kept me injury free the last couple of years because I got injured a lot.
That kept me in the game.
Kept you in the game, right? It'll keep you in the game longer, and that's what's kept me, knock on this fake IKEA wood.
Keeps me. You're able to keep up with the 20-year-olds because of it. That is it to a T.
I try to tell them. I say, guys,
when you guys get to a certain age, they'll figure it out. They're like, oh, she knew what she was talking about.
Yoga, just do 10 minutes of yoga a night. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So this was kind of an offshoot that I've meditated on and on off and on over the years, and I started doing it prior to some of my fights in my camp, and then it just kind of stuck around. And it's not like a big deal thing, but it's like I try to meditate like 10 minutes every morning. And it really centers me. I feel like I get a lot more mentally out of my day. It's like, and
can I not to interrupt, but like for our listeners too, is like when you meditate, like you had to learn how to do something, and most people don't. They think, oh my God, I can't just sit there and clear my mind. For the next 10 minutes and not think of anything. And I'm sure that's not what you usually do.
Well,
so can you run through a little bit what you do for our listeners?
I still try all different kinds of meditation, so I don't put limits on it. I just don't even make it a big deal. I basically have tried. I go on YouTube and Google meditation and pick the first 10-minute video that comes up sometimes. Sometimes I just sit there for 10 minutes and let my mind wander. Sometimes I pick a word to focus on, or sometimes I pick an image to focus on.
Did you do any of it for your fights? Did you do any visualization?
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, that's the other thing that kind of brought me around to it because I had, of course, eventually, if you do any kind of sport, you stumble upon visualization for athletes. Right? They all do it at the top levels. So those kind of like a blend of that. So I definitely, I have all these like earthy, crunchy, like things I've downloaded from Amazon, believe in yourself, you're special, you're one with the universe. But this works. Like instead of dumping crap in your head, I could be thinking, oh my God, she's going to kick my ass and I'm probably going to die out there. I'm so old. Thinking something positive and replacing that with something positive can't hurt you.
Right.
It can't do any harm, and I just feel like you're retraining your mind, just like you train your body to throw a jab, or if you're a runner, you train yourself to run, or if, you need to learn a new computer program and how to do your taxes, or you have to practice practice.
Well, I always say there's a difference between worrying about something and thinking about something. So a lot of times someone like, oh, I can't think about it. It's like, no, you have to think about it. Just don't worry about it. Don't repeat the same thing over and over to yourself.
Yes.
Say, what can I do about this? What are my options?
If you can do something about it, then do that. You don't need to worry. Right. And if you can't do anything about it, worrying is useless. Exactly. It's just expending energy you don't need. So
for something that's in the future that you have no control over until it gets there, and it might not even happen. That's
I mean, I've had a long battle in court with my ex, and there have been a lot of really stressful situations as a mom, and I just have really found that worry, it happens to me sometimes. It's hard to avoid it. It's okay to sit with it. But I put a cap on it. So whenever I have a bad thing that happens to me, this is a little trick that I have.
This is good.
I tell this to the people at the gym all the time. So if something bad happens to me, I make a decision to allow myself to be upset or to cry or to freak out or whatever, but I set a deadline.
Nice.
I give myself a deadline. I say, okay, and usually I stop before the deadline. You know, like, what did I have? I had one fight. It might have been the one that I took on short notice, and I really got my ass kicked by Maria Rivera, who's phenomenal, by the way.
Yeah,
she's in the Junior Olympics for Taekwondo, and she's got a long career ahead of her.
Yeah, she has the up-and-coming fight.
She has an up-and-coming fight with Sarah Click, who is one of my training partners, and Sarah Click is a beast. It's going to be a death match. I'm telling you right now.
Are you going?
I hope so. That's the thing one of the things I've had to give up though is going to so many fights because, you know, it's hard with the kids and stuff. They have their own lives and everything. But I tell them like, so I'll put it, so, you know, I said, oh, it really sucked that I lost. So I said, I'm going to allow myself to lay in bed and eat potato chips, which were actually these all natural veggie chips with sea salt. So it wasn't really that bad, everybody. Don't worry. And I watched like, you know, 24 episodes of like the 100 in a row and crying in bed. And I just said, I'm going to allow myself to do this for one whole day. And after that, I have to pull my shit together. I laid in bed.
That's good.
And I sat there and ate. I literally sat in crumbs, which if you know me, I'm kind of, you know, I like things to be like empty. So I'm covered in crumbs. The kids kept coming in. They're like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine. And it's like, Mom, I'm like, it'll be over by 6 p.m. It'll be over by 6 p.m. I'm like rocking, you know. And so then, but then like before my deadline, I was like, oh, I'm getting sick of this. Like, I'm tired of sitting in a bed of crumbs. So I always put a cap on myself. And then I say, all right, just let it out. Because you gotta let it out. Otherwise you subvert it. Yeah. And then you like, it comes out some other way.
Oh,
so
manifest,
Right? It always comes out some way. So I just allow myself permission to be upset. And then I say, all right, now I have to pull it together. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But like, say, okay, now it's time to like focus on getting it together. And meditation helps with that. And visualization and just visualizing like, you know, what I've done well in the past and why am I doing this? You know, why am I even doing this? I want to, you know, show my kids certain qualities like courage or whatever. And I just like, okay, I'm doing this for that. And just replay that in your head instead of all the bad stuff.
What's important too is to ask a lot of people will ask themselves questions, but they don't attempt to answer the questions.
Yes.
So they'll ask themselves these questions and it's like, well, now try to answer it. That's the difficult part.
Yeah, like why am I doing this? And the answers are like, some of them are selfish and some of them aren't. You know, some of them are altruistic. Like I want the female MMA community to see that this is possible because even though there's some amazing female fighters locally, in our gym, some of the women are just starting to come up, like Jeanette. She's a killer, and she's coming, you know.
Real new blood coming up.
Yeah, and I just want to say, like, keep going. And so some of it's for that reason, for the MMA community, and some of it's to model good behavior for my kids, and some of it's for me. I want to do something that matters, and I feel like this matters. And I want to just do something. I want to know myself. I want to know what happens when I'm faced with that.
Right.
What am I going to do?
Right.
You know, what am I going to do? I was asking myself that question before I stood in the ring, before I got in the ring last time. Standing there in this like crazy Muay Thai getup that's like such an honor. You know that they put this whole thing. I mean, Andy was so cute. He was like doing the whole thing, the bow, and oh my God, I was like, I can't believe I'm here. And I'm standing here and I'm like, what am I going to do when I get in there? Am I going to freak out? Am I going to like cry? Am I going to cave?
There was a brief,
am I going to step up to the plate?
There was a brief second, and I could identify with you when you were in there because it was like that little girl came out. You're in the middle of the ring, and this like little like when you're a small kid and you're completely vulnerable.
Yes.
And
you're so vulnerable up there.
Yeah, and you're completely vulnerable, and you just feel like, I don't even know how to describe it, but I know I felt that when we were in the ring, and I'm like, and everybody's watching, and I'm like,
yeah,
and I'm
so
here, but I'm here, and it's like almost your spirit.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's your spirit coming out, and it's saying, and it's such a soft, sweet, innocent, like a child almost. Like it's there, and you're like, I'm here, and I'm doing my dream.
Yeah, that was like so overwhelming.
I'm doing my dream.
This is my dream. I'm living my dream right now.
And I'm living it.
Yeah.
And I caught it in you when you were in the middle of the ring. Am I accurate in saying
that?
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm
I was definitely like, that was really my focus for this fight. I was like, I don't know how many fights I have left, and this is my dream.
Yeah.
And I just love this gym, and I love this sport, and I love this community. And I am right now living my dream. Whatever happens in here, I'm living my dream. And it was awesome. And yeah, it is. It's such a pure thing. And just kind of discovering how you react under those circumstances. Like,
and it's
what am I gonna do?
A winding, wonderful road.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
like, and I've had the pleasure to have witnessed it all these years. And it's been really a great experience.
Shelley, you have no idea, like you played a huge part in this for me, because when I first started, there was a lot less support for women, and it was hard to be courageous. And you were like my fairy godmother, because you were like, I've been here. I know it's tough. Like, you gave me the talk more than once. You said, it's hard, girl, but you keep going. And like, you really like, I try to do that for the girls at the gym.
I know you do. So, I think it's great.
Yeah, you modeled the behavior for me. So
now you're modeling it for me, because now you're like, it's kind of like this big circle, because I feel like, there are times like when I see her at it, I'm like, shit, maybe I should go back and actually train. I mean, I'm going to train again. I'm actually going to come back to the gym and train again. But actually maybe even compete. I don't know. Like, I'm not promising anything, but like I've had those little inklings.
It's like
that's not my dream to do that, but it just looks like so much fun.
I feel like it shouldn't be such a rigid thing. Yeah. Like, if you feel it, do it. If you don't, that's okay too. Like, it's okay to move on to have a life in other areas. Like, so many wonderful people at the gym have gone on to do other things.
Exactly.
And I know they're going to be amazing at those other things,
right,
because they were amazing at the gym. Yeah. And so it's not wrong to leave part of this behind or even come back to it. It's like, whatever. Like, this is
never wrong.
Right.
It's never wrong.
No, it's like, follow your path, right? So if you feel that inkling again, follow it. Like, follow that little inkling.
And if it took you 3 years to do it, then you needed 3 years to do it.
Exactly.
You didn't have to.
Exactly. I don't put so much pressure on myself anymore. I felt like such pressure early on because of my age. I was like, oh my God, I have to hurry up and do this. And now I'm like,
actually do this for the rest of my life on some level.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
I was like, I can keep competing. I can still do jiu-jitsu. I can, they can't stop me, because I can go sign up for tournaments and go in the Masters division. No one can stop me, because that's how I get like, I was like, well, they're never going to let me do an MMA fight. So I started doing jiu-jitsu tournaments, because I figured they can't stop me.
Yeah. Well, that was a good thing to do, though, like to prepare for it.
To show them, I'm serious, I can compete, I'm not afraid, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let me rephrase that. I don't know what I'm doing exactly, but I know that I want to be doing this, okay?
Yeah. Definitely what I want to do.
Knowing what I'm doing, but it's an exciting time to be in the local community, so.
Yeah. The Indians are getting restless.
Yeah, my kids are getting restless.
Well,
they're
here
so
for 2 hours.
Have we?
Hour and a half.
Oh my God.
Nice.
I can talk, I'm sorry.
No, I love it. Are you kidding? You had so much great information like to share and storytelling.
Well,
it's awesome.
Hopefully this will inspire some people
awesome.
locally, and also make them see that, like, it's not just the fighting. You should take some risks in life. Calculated risks, but risks. A few risks. Don't, you're going to look at yourself in the mirror when you're 80. And
life is about
what did I do? What did I accomplish? How did I make the world a better place? And this is maybe my little way of doing it. I don't know.
Being an inspiration for other women coming up, even men coming up, that, wow, she did this, and, I can do this too.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's pretty much what it is. I love you. Thanks for listening. Evolve Women's MMA is for women, by women, about women, to help evolve the sport. And don't forget to like us, love us, share
share it, comment. I'd love to hear what you think at facebook.com/I love WMMA.